What's going on, VC? Drinking here. I hope everybody's doing well. Cheers. Today I'm gonna do a video to celebrate Randy from the Dead Wax 66 10-year anniversary on the VC. Yeah, you heard me right. 10 fucking years of doing this. Gonna leave Randy's link in the description. Go and subscribe. Randy, hats off to Randy. 10 fucking years showing rad punk, rock and roll, garage, excellent. And you know it, doing 10 years of this is nothing but dedication, because Randy, like many of us are here, we're not here working for a paycheck. We're not here trying to monetize it, right? It's all the love of music, the love of collecting vinyl records, and most of all, the love for the underground, because that's what we share here. We're not here with fucking Anna Montanas and going on and on and on about the Beatles and the Aerosmith and all that kind of shit. We want people worldwide to listen to fucking punk rock, garage, to those regional obscure bands that never got their dues. So 10 years, hats off to you, Randy. So do not expect nothing but sloppiness in this video. I'm gonna rant a little bit. It's been a fucking hell of a week, and in particular, a hell of a day. You know those days that everything fucking, you start your day making breakfast and you drop a plate, you break a cabinet, that kind of fucking day. A lot of that I think has to do with the fact that I live in San Diego. I'm in Southern California. I'm a social worker. That's what I do for a living. And by social work, I mean I'm one of those in the field, in the community, on the streets with poor and helpless. Man, whatever the fuck is going on, there's this aura of additional stress above our heads. It's kind of scary. That's why, I've been struggling to cope with stress, to be honest with you. That's why I haven't seen a video from me in the last 2 weeks or 3, because fuck, things are getting rough around here. I hope things are better wherever you are. But anyways, I heard people saying that in other states the gas is cheap. We're back to being great again, but I'm gonna keep that to myself. But things are rough around here. You want to know this? Yeah, there is a true, you can sense it. There is a mix of uninformed apathy with I truly believe that we're adding to a police state. Scary as fuck, but it's 2025. Who gives a fuck? As long as we have a couple likes, a little clout, some selfies to post, a credit card to go somewhere and take a dick pic to share with the world, we're good. That's where you are. But back to what matters. We're here to celebrate Randy. I became aware of this because I saw Vinyl Rich's video. Even though I follow Randy religiously, I missed his video for some reason. So 10-year anniversary for Randy. Again, congratulations. The idea is to show records from where you're from. So Randy is from the Midwest, so he shared videos from records from the Midwest, Vinyl Rich in California, shared a lot of records from California. I'm a legal alien. I lived in many places, so I packed a stack of records here to share with you from Portugal, London, England, Chicago, Kentucky, and California. Of course, I'm taking the opportunity here to share records that I never shared. Quite a few of these I've shared before, but anyways, if you never saw it, you'll have an opportunity now. Let's start. So, yours truly is originally from Portugal. I know, right off the bat, huge language barrier. And it is, indeed, huge language barrier. But I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna give you like a guide. It's gonna be like Portuguese Punk for Dummies here. I'm gonna share with you, I'm gonna start to share with you one of the most influential bands for Portuguese punk aficionados, not for Portuguese in general. There's some punk bands that everybody knows in Portugal, same, the equivalent to the Ramones in United States, the Sex Pistols in England, that kind of stuff. But this is a band the punk aficionados love to death, and I'm talking about Cu de Judas. Yeah, Judas Ass. This is a record called Quero Ser Eu. This is a document. This captures a live performance of the band, two live performances of the band, one of them on the most notorious battle of the bands in Portugal in 1985. And I know some don't give a fuck, but if you don't give a fuck, you can just jump off out of this shit. If you give a fuck, let me put things in context. Because, fuck, how can you just listen to shit without know nothing about it? This is not fucking Janet Jackson. So, 1985. So this festival was the first festival on Portugal as a democratic nation, a very young democratic nation, allowing the youth to express themselves in a free way. Festival called Rock Rendezvous. If you have a chance to buy this is a phenomenal document here. Sounds great. This is influenced on first wave of English 77 punk. Already you start hearing some hints of Discharge, GBH, things of that nature. This is a banger. This is a record that are all dear to my heart, and this came out I don't know, not many years ago. All this stuff, Portuguese stuff for the most part, came out in cassette, bootlegs, and CD some, and they were reissued within the last 20 years of vinyl frenzy. Another band that I shared before, today I'm sharing a different record by them. This is the best when it comes to UK 82 influenced Portuguese punk. This is it, hands down, and I'm talking about Crise Total Crisis. Seems like we might be heading to some shit like that. And it's again live on Rock Rendezvous 85, 86. Look at this cover so you can have an idea what Portugal was about in that time. It's pretty rad to see the crowd. Check out the crowd. This is Portugal '85, and for a country that broke free from a fascist regime in 74, you see these people here rocking Motorhead, Black Flag, Anti-Nowhere League, Screamers, Susie and the Benches, UK Subs, and GBH. Yeah, this was Portugal, early mid 80s. This is a banger again, and another essential document of Portuguese alternative music. Now we're talking, I think 91. Let me see. This is their second album. 91. I bought this record. This is the original, my original copy when he was out in the stores. I should have stolen a promo poster back then. I didn't. This record plays, doesn't skip a bit, but the cover, it's a mess. If this record could speak, man, probably be iced. Censurados, confusão, censored, confusion. Excellent. This is excellent. For someone that doesn't understand Portuguese, listen to this, you'll be a little bit more popular to your ears. It's kind of like if you don't speak a word of Swedish, but if you listen to KSMB or Eva Grön, you'll get the same experience here. Classic. Another classic is Pesticida, Plague and AIDS. This is their third album. This album made them popular among every single Portuguese citizen. Pesticida que é, Pesticida rules okay, we rule okay. Classic. This is very Portuguese, as you can tell. Your server on a very fascistoid, mandated by its employer uniform, serving you finger. Yeah, it's his banger classic. They do a cover of California Sun that they do sing. That the Portuguese lyrics is pretty rad. Check it out. That's a classic. This is another classic, absolute classic. Today I'm sharing with you a record that originally came out, I believe, in 1997 on CD, which is probably like their fifth release. This is fantastic. Mataratos, Sento Ódio, Feel the Hate. This band, it's a Portuguese punk rock band, tapping on oi. I would describe them as the Portuguese business, because even throughout their career, their sound embraced the same influences as business did throughout the career. If you remember business, the hardcore hooligan and all that kind of evolution, he has a more that hardcore element, but still with that street skinhead feel. Sing along. It's a rager right here. This was finally printed on wax in 2020. Highly recommend. Legendary Portuguese band. Late 80s, prolific throughout the 90s. Talk about Tédio Boys, Tedious Boys, Porkabilly Psychosis. Yes, it's not a psychobilly band. It's a band that comes from a particular city in a country that it's well known for embracing, for promoting obscure American rockabilly. So it's like punk kids that love Hazel Adkins. It's like Hazel Adkins on speed. This is fantastic. This is excellent. And also, I hope it's still available on YouTube. I know many years ago it was. There's like a show of these guys out in the desert in Las Vegas, some impromptu show by them, and that will give you a pretty good idea punk as fuck, and you know, free this bunch were, and I hope they still are, banger. Out of this band, many moons later, it's 2 decades later, there was a band formed in London, Portuguese crew. I think the band was formed in Portugal, but then they ended up moving to London, and man, guess what? In London, they were the most hyped, cool band from that period of time, and I'm talking about the Parkinsons. Back to Life, record is a fucking amazing record. If you're a fan of 77 Punk, just imagine 77 Punk, Market Man, high tension wires, all that shit comes together, but it is delivered with 4 dudes that are cool as fuck, but they could care about being cool at all. This is real punk rock. This is fucking some punk and roll from the soul. Yeah, Parkinsons. Now the band decided to show this band. Some will say it's not punk, but this is like legendary Portuguese band from the 80s. But today I picked that 1992 album that got them on the charts. Back then, everybody was fucking party along with one particular tune from this record. But these guys, if you like post-punk and some sort of experimentalism or even industrial or even krautrock, you fucking name it. This band, even though they speak in Portuguese, this is a concept album. Each song is the name of a city. For instance, Lisbon, Amsterdam, Budapest, Barcelona, Marrakesh, Berlin, Paris, Istanbul, Shambhala. This is insanity on a record. Even this is a record, if you into anything that I just described and you put yourself through listen to this shit, you will be on fucking Google Translator because you want to know what these motherfuckers they're saying. These guys were ahead of their time, and these guys were like educated people, lawyers and whatever, wild motherfuckers, wild. The lead singer of this band will be the Portuguese Lux Interior, but this is wild, and their musicianship is brilliant. These guys could play. If you know a band from Hungary called Bikini, you could use that band as a reference. This is amazing. And for you to and this thing, I gotta say this, made the top 10 in Portugal. And for you to understand us, the Portuguese, these guys are on the top 10, non-censored, in 1901. And the chorus of this particular song was, "The dealer ripped me off, that motherfucking dealer." I hope that it's enough to grab your attention. Check it out, Mal Morta, Death End. Shared these not long ago, but you gotta check these out. This is from the 90s, Exato, which is box cutter. In Portuguese, this is like Portuguese Youth Crew, way more minor threat inclined than Youth Crew. Fantastic lyrics, pro animal liberation, all that stuff. But again, it's like intervention music. Awesome. I'm gonna give it to this band too. This is from early 2000s. Some, well-known Portuguese punk rockers that still carry on playing in many bands, keeping things alive. In particular, Luís Ratos is right here. this is Clockwork Boys. It's a band that that there was mixed reviews about them. Some people like them, some people don't. But Portugal is a small country. As a result, sometimes small-minded, becomes a little bit small-minded, and there's rivalries. That kind of bullshit. It's pretty lame, but doesn't matter. She's just like sleazy punk rock. New Bomb Turksy without being even close to being capable to play as well as New Bomb Turks do, but he has that punk and roll, street lingo. It's a record about Portuguese street life for the outcasts. Clockwork Boys. A dor passa, o ódio fica. The pain goes away, the fucking hate stays. Let me flip the record. All right, back at it. Oh, and last but not least, from Portugal. Oi band from Portugal. This came out, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. I'm talking about Fação Oposta. Looks like there's a opposition faction, lendas urbanas, urban legends. There's like an Oi revival going on for the last 10 years. And this is the Portuguese band that has been doing it the best. Fação Oposta. Now, born and raised in Portugal. I lived in London, even though I started visiting London as a tourist many months ago. My only motivation to go to London at the time was purely to buy records, attend punk rock shows. It was all about punk. I think the first time I actually saw the big band was on my 5th trip to London. That should tell you a lot. So bands from London, we could start the Sex Pistols. We're not gonna do that because I didn't experience that. But I decided to share with you guys a record that I never did, which is an excellent record from a legendary London band. Talking about Sniveling Shits. I Can't Come. This is, if you know, you know. If you don't know, this is an absolutely underrated beauty of nihilism. And I'm going to read something for you really quick. Let's see if I can do it. In the annals of punk rock, the Sniveling Shits stand alone. This selection from the vaults proves the Shits are still a farce to be reckoned with. There's that classic of immature ejaculation, I Can't Come, which is a song. The song that launched 1,000 Shits and was a major influence in the development of Dire Straits. Not many people know this, but the lyrics, transcribed verbatim, formed the script of the first episodes of EastEnders, Neighbours, and Wogan. Then there's that everyday saga of bulk buying. Bring me the head of Yuko Mishima. The billion-selling Talmanisi smash. Not many people know this, but the backing vocals were the work of none other than Sid Vicious. Listen closely to the second chorus and you will be able to make out the harmony vox laid down by Ayatollah Khomeini. He's the one singing Ayatollah not to come in a leering falsetto. By anyone's standards, I Wanna Be Your Burrow is a staggering achievement. Just listen to those staggering guitars, the staggering percussion, and the vocals, which are, in a word, simply staggering. Yeah, nihilistic, nonsensical motherfuckers. This is a banger on Damaged Goods. Come, grab this. But while I was living in London, there was a band. There was already some talk about it. This is a band that these days is more hated than loved. I can understand why. But you can say whatever the fuck you want. If you were there when this record came out, you didn't hate it. Talking about Booze and Glory debut. Always on the wrong side. Yeah. Skinhead, rock and roll, played by Polish immigrants. Go check the song, Anti-Song, and that's all I gotta say. Be the judge and the jury. But at the time, while I was living in London, the band that I saw more often, because they blew my socks away. They did blow my socks away. This record came out after. I was not living in London in 2014. But at the time, they only had CD released and a single. But this record still holds to that same standard that I was exposed to. I'm talking about Moral Dilemma. Is anyone alive out there? This is for any hardcore anarcho-punk fan. This is a trio. Phenomenal female, male vocal trading with that anarcho, hardcore fierceness. This is amazing. I saw these guys, in my opinion, overshadowing the Restarts. And the Restarts is a band that it's always amazing live. Moral Dilemma. This band was the band that I got introduced during the period of time that I was living in London, that I probably would never come across it if I was not there at the time. Amazing. Then I moved to the United States and I lived in Chicago because that's where my beautiful wife is from. So let me share with you some Chicago goodies. I never know if Naked Raygun or Effigies, which one I prefer. I gotta go with Naked Raygun because they were way more prolific than Naked Raygun. I've shared Naked Raygun here many times. Let me share one record that I think is underappreciated, is not shown often. There you go, Naked Raygun. It's pretty cool. You can cut the faces and put it. Not familiar with this shit? You can start by listening to the song All in You. Naked Raygun breeds sounds like Chicago. Same applies for the Effigies. And if you cannot afford By Haunted Town, Body Bag Singing, all that, you need these in your life. Effigies compilation reminds non-viable on Roadkill Records. This is a banger. My favorite song by Effigies is by far Below the Drop, but Body Bag, Below the Drop, Security. Oh, those are songs that you need in your playlist, in your life. A band that I absolutely adore as well. Controversial band, Articles of Fate. I'm sharing a comp on Beatscore called Core. Everything that I've done, well, not everything, because they have a record maybe from like 2015 that is pretty shitty. But man, one of my favorite hardcore songs of all time is the song What We Want Is Free, which is so relevant these days. Yeah, is in this comp. Fantastic. Grab one of these if you got a chance. Band that I became aware while living in Chicago, because I didn't know this until I moved to Chicago. No, what the fuck? Tutu and the Pirates. I never heard one single soul in Europe ever mention Tutu and the Pirates. But truth to be said, when I became aware of this and I saw them live, I was like, what the fuck? Like, my brain exploded. 77, pathetic punk, Devo-ish influence. This is a cacophonia of greatness. This is a suburban insult rock for the anti-intellectual. It's amazing. From the suburbs, a band that I saw last Saturday. Dude, I like pop punk. Pop punk. Who doesn't like pop punk? Pop punk is this Christian wisdom, and this is a great one that often doesn't get any credit. How to Make Enemies and Irritate People. This is on Lookout Records. Yeah. Planet of the Apes, 99. I Eat Your Guts on Sunday. Degenerate Surf Goddess. Banger right here. And we're living in the Planet of the Apes, or so it seems so. One of the best, most prolific political American bands of all time. From Chicago, I believe from Pilsen, the neighborhood of Pilsen, the almighty Los Crudos, later to become Limp Bizkit. This is amazing. This is Los Primeros Gritos, 91, 95. And he compiles a bunch of shit. This is top 5 best American Latino anarchist band ever. essential. And another polemic band since Chicago. There we go. What about Fear City? Fear City, Our Way of Life. This came out originally CD, was reissued on wax in 2015, and this is proper chic oi, American oi. This is American oi. There's no bullshit in here. You can listen to it. You can come up with your theories of conspiracy. This is tough as nails, blue collar, working class, beer drinking, motherfucking rock and roll. Fear City. And last but not least, the band that I catch right before I move out of Chicago is this band Brick Assassin. There's more bands from the last 10 years, you know, carry on with a street punk, oi, some mixing the, you know, post-punk, trendish elements, all that kind of bullshit going on. This is a banger, but I recommend this one, Brick Assassin, Chicago Brick Crew, because I saw these guys on this tour. They opened for Negative Approach, and they blew the fuck out of me. And truth to be said, you know, they didn't overpower Negative Approach, but man, they were pretty close. And not many cannot do that. A banger. All right, after that, I had a brief stop in Kentucky. Lived in Kentucky as well. My father-in-law, he was from Kentucky. So in Kentucky, I became exposed to some bands that I never heard. For instance, Fading Out, I believe from Louisville, Kentucky. This is from mid-80s. This is pure Black Flag. These guys, they were listening to Black Flag and Black Sabbath all day, all night. This is a banger of a regional hardcore record. Check them out. At least for bragging rights. It's a good record for bragging rights. Because not many will say, oh yeah, I love Fading Out. No, it's good for bragging rights. And Brass Knuckle Boys from Lexington, you know, street punk oi, but they do have that, they carry that outlaw country vibe in their sound. This is the Appalachian industry. Check them out. And a band that is not from Kentucky, but I'm gonna show just for shits and giggles because a lot of people don't know this. You need to know. Do you like rock and roll? Do you like Nashville Pussy? Nashville Pussy, they're from Nashville, from Tennessee. Well, they might have been from Nashville, but 50% of the band are born and raised in Owensboro, Kentucky. So a lot of Kentucky blood in Nashville Pussy, which is a banger of sleazy rock and roll. And last but not least, we end up in San Diego, where I've been for the last 7 years. And Battalion of Saints, Rock in Peace, Mystic Records. This is a record that you want to grab. Second Coming is a banger, but here you got Fighting Boys EP. You know, if you're gonna go and try to buy Fighting Boys EP original press, have fun. Good luck. I hope if you can afford, that's great. But this is a great go-to. The Widows, 90s, excellent punk rock and roll band from San Diego. Two bands from San Diego that encapsulate that 90s, early 2000s street punk feel. If you like bands like the Casualties, Lower Class Brats, Virus, two from San Diego that did it the better were Cheap Sex and Career Soldiers. Yeah, this is for the 90s kids. They're still find joy in listening to some 90s street punk. And last but not least, I'm gonna share with you a couple of singles of my favorite bands from San Diego. This is a reissue from a few years back. The Cardiac Kids, Find Yourself a Way and Get Out. This is a banger of 77 punk with some into power popular sets. It's punk as fuck. One of my favorite bands from San Diego of all time, Social Spit. Check them out. Love them to death. And this needs to be promoted because it's one of the best American first wave punk bands ever. I'm talking about the Zeros, and I'm sharing you 1, 2, and 3. The first 3 Zero singles. They were recently, by recently I mean I think 2 years, reissued on Monster Records. It's an excellent opportunity to get these 3 singles at a fair price that sound amazing. And you guys have a good weekend, and I'm gonna come back at you with a video soon. I appreciate your support. Let me know what you want to see. Give me some ideas because I'm pretty burned the fuck out. It is what it is. But I'm going to enjoy the weekend and you guys should do it as well. Take care. Cheers.